Manufacturing industries in India. Chapter 6 Geography, Class 10, Cbse. Challenges to steel industry. Steel making is a power intensive business and India is a power deficit country. Despite a large number of power purchase agreements being signed in the mid 90s and early 2000s, the deficiency of electricity puts India at a disadvantage when it comes to producing steel the way it wants to. India's relation to coal vis-a-vis iron ore remains inverse. There is much less coal for every ton of iron ore mined, which calls for coal imports to keep captive power plants running. Australia and Indonesia are two major areas that supply coal to India. Of course, Australia has been hiking coal prices, which directly affects the price of iron and steel in India. Despite its large population and every incentive to explore newer ways of construction, India sticks to its time tested use of concrete in most constructions. The West, the Gulf, and other settled markets use much more steel to build columns and structures. The latter helps reduce the weight of construction, takes much less time to put together, needs much less maintenance, and can rise high in the sky while taking the steel along. India isn't doing badly for its size, population, and complexity. That said, a country of its size and ambition ought to consume a lot more steel to bring the industry to par with the world and reap all the benefits of using the metal. Challenges to aluminium industry. High cost of power and power shortage are the major hurdles in the development of aluminium industry. Essential raw materials like cryolite and fluoride are still imported. Huge capital investment is required for setting up aluminium industry. Small entrepreneurs cannot enter into aluminium business easily. Existing players can expand easily as setting up brownfield project is easier than a new greenfield project. Thus, the prospect for new players in the industry is getting diminished. Existing players already have the control over the known bauxite mines in the country, which leads to manipulation of ore prices negatively affecting the industry. Smelter units, which are decades old, are more power consuming and hence cost of production is higher. Now, let us see the challenges in copper industry. Import of copper and copper products are much cheaper than what is locally available. It is a very big challenge which smelters in India are facing. The capacity in India is about million tons. The consumption last year was almost the same level as 2016 at about 650,000 metric tons, and the smelters or the Indian producers were able to sell only 430,000 metric tons. The reason is we are also having imports in India from the Asian countries with whom India is having an FTA. This is putting a big challenge because of few reasons. One is for the FTA countries, the duty has become zero on copper imports. Now, what is FTA? Free Trade Agreement. An agreement between two or more countries where the countries agree on certain obligations that affect trade in goods and services and offers protection for investors and intellectual property rights. The second, smelting business is a huge working capital intensive business. And for example, the size of our operation needs about 10,000 to 15,000 crores of working capital. The cost of working capital in India is relatively higher compared to the developed or Asian countries. For example, in Japan, it is almost zero and that really poses a big challenge for the Indian producers. As far as India, specific challenges are concerned, we hardly have any copper concentrate. And because of that, we have to rely on imports, particularly from South Africa, in a big way. This really increases the cost of production. Added to this, the working capital and cost creates an issue. The duty on copper concentrate is 2.5%, and if you see the finished goods coming at zero duty. Challenges to textile industry in India. Shutting down some units in China and Europe due to pollution issues have resulted in an unprecedented rise in price of basic raw material in international markets. Environmental compliance often isn't the it is the top priority of the textiles and garment importers. Failing to comply with the environmental regulations can put supply chain in jeopardy as pressure mounts for the apparel industry to improve environmental compliance efforts. The low quality of India's infrastructure continue to lag behind that of many other Asian countries. Unlike in developed countries, textile factories in India are not fully automated and remain labor intensive. Approximately 95% of the weaving sector in India is unorganized in nature. The decentralized power loom and hosiery sector contributes 85% of total fabric production. In terms of technology adoption in weaving sector, India has only 2% share in the global shuttleless loom installed capacity. Thank you. For detailed notes and question and answers, log on to EDUGURU-Notes.blogspot.com. If you like this video notes, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you.